Hello and welcome to the Real Sex Education After School. I'm Diggory Waite and I'm joined as ever by accredited sex and relationship therapist Cate Campbell. Hello, Mum.
Hello, Diggs.
Mum, today we've got a very, very interesting question
Ooh.
from one of our listeners. We've also got a couple more after that. They have sent them in to our anonymous Google form, which you can find in the bio of this episode, and our social media channels. We're at the RSC Pod on Instagram, TikTok and X.
Formerly known as Twitter.
Amazing. This one really is poll territory.
Poll?
You know what I mean?
Poll?
Yeah, as in we're going to do a poll.
Oh, poll. Not
Yeah,
poll.
yeah.
I thought you meant like a poll.
Or a Polish person.
No,
exactly. Well, that's good. It's good we're on the same wavelength.
except we're not.
We Yeah, you're right. Sorry, you're right. Oh, well, okay. Well, let's get back on the same page if we can. And I'm going to dive straight into this one because it's so good.
Splash.
Yeah. Stop that.
Belly flop.
Hi there. Big fan. Thanks for the great work. Thank you so much. Straight male 28. Is it okay to lose my virginity to a sex worker? I just want to get it over with. I feel I need to. Don't get me wrong. I love sex, but I'd love to have it without strings attached. Never really been in a relationship. Not sure why. Probably a number of reasons, like maybe I'm scared of the whole idea, and maybe it's never really been my thing. Love my freedom. Sorry for being wordy. Thanks for everything. Pray hands emoji.
Oh, what did he have for lunch?
No mention of what they had for lunch or dinner.
Oh, right. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Thank you, though, for writing to us.
Yeah.
This is a really, really common question at the moment.
It is. It really is.
yeah.
And you know what? I looked it up online. It feels quite a popular thing, and quite a popular thing in America as well, North America and USA. And some people, it sounds like their parents or like arrange this sort of thing as well. Yeah, I know. Kind of crazy. Anyway, so come on then. What are your thoughts?
Well, back in the olden days, I think a lot of people did lose their virginity this way. And it was quite common for uncles and dads and things like that, or older men to pay for someone's first time, which I think is a bit weird, but anyway. But it happened. And of course that's pimping, so it's actually illegal.
Oh, what? Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
In the sense that
to find someone for somebody and set it up isn't allowed.
Well, it depends on what country, right?
Oh yeah, I mean here.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay. I forget we listen to in other places as well.
Yeah.
Where it may or may not be. Yes. And if you find the right person, and particularly somebody who's experienced in this kind of thing, it could be a really, really good experience. And I mean, I wouldn't keep it from the person that this is your first time at all.
Yeah. So tell the sex worker and say, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, this is my first time.
When you're setting it up, make sure, I mean, if they don't respond well to that, then I wouldn't even think about it. I mean, if they say, oh, don't worry, I'm used to this sort of thing, then that, it's a different matter. So you could do that. But you could also just wait for it to happen, because I'm sure it will one day, and maybe work on what is bothering you. I mean, you may want to have more of a relationship with somebody, so know them better than a hookup for your first time, which is a really good idea. But also, lots of people have lots of sex without intercourse. And maybe that's what you've been doing already. But they get very sexually experienced that way, and much more experienced often than people do when they're having intercourse. So, why not, if you're going to get involved with someone, go for a slow burn. I know a lot of people feel a bit intimidated by the amount of commitment there is with a sexual relationship, or that they imagine there is. And that's why they avoid it.
Which it sounds like they say as much in their message.
Yeah. I mean, you may have a friend who, a friend with benefits, or you may, if you're on a dating app, you might be able to say what you're interested in beforehand. Or you may actually find there are other people who just want to be friends, and see where that goes. Or there may be people who just want to hook up, who you could explain your situation to as well. I mean, there are all sorts of possibilities there. But I mean, I wouldn't rule out a relationship, because not all relationships turn into commitment and long-term things, particularly these days.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you can still keep your freedom. And on a lot of these dating apps, you can say up front, like, I'm not looking for anything serious. And some of these dating apps, like, that's almost, it sort of comes with that prerequisite idea. I mean, one of the great dating apps, a little plug for Feeld, F-E-E-L-D, that is filled with queer folk and very like sex positive people and lots of people on there. You know, there is this understanding where it's like lots of chat about what they're into, lots of consensual chat before you've even met. You meet up for a drink, you make sure you get on with each other, and there's this expectation that it's like, oh, we're going to shag, and then we probably won't talk again. Like, there is a way to have no strings attached sex. I think the point that you made before, Mum, which is really interesting. What is the motivation here? We talked a lot, actually, recently, off-air, about people wanting to lose their virginity and doing so much to do that, to just get it over with.
Get it out of the way. And so most people have sex drunk.
Yeah, and with people
not when they mean to, when they have an idea about, getting it out of the way, an opportunity arises, they go for it.
Yeah. And then maybe it's something they regret further down the line.
Or not. I mean, some people are very pleased to have done it.
And this is the thing, you know, looking online and seeing people's testimonials who've done this, a lot of them say, listen, I don't regret it because what I was looking for was a bit of confidence, and I had sex with someone and I got confidence from that. What almost all of those people say as well is that it doesn't replace the sort of loving relationship. It's not like it's not fulfilling in that way.
The thing is that people that write about it probably do so because they don't feel ashamed or embarrassed or that it was a bad experience. But those that do feel it's a bad experience probably won't write about it. And of course, if it doesn't go well, then you're stuck with that feeling that it didn't go well. And then, I mean, as a therapist, I have seen a lot of people men who've had a bad first experience and lost their erection or something. Even if that was okay, they got it back, they got on with it, they then think it's always going to happen.
Yeah.
And so they avoid. And the thing is, if you know the person beforehand, then you don't have to be so worried about that.
Conversely, though, if you know the person beforehand, does the pressure not ratchet up? Because you're like, well, I don't want to upset them. Whereas with a sex worker, that might be the one and only time you meet them. Well,
if you know the person a bit beforehand, I mean, I think that's the thing. I think it's something like Field might be a bit off-putting because it's so sex positive, or maybe not. But, you know,
that is a good point.
What you might want is to just say, I don't want full commitment, but I don't want to hook up. I mean, you want actual casual. Because for a lot of people, casual means, it's okay to ghost you. For some people.
Yeah.
So being really clear about what you mean, saying, I'm not in a position for commitment at the moment, but I don't want just to hook up. Then you're being clear about, we might chat a few times and it might progress.
I mean, may we dive into a second to some of the things that they say, because I love sex, is what they say. I'd love to have it without strings attached. I've never really been in a relationship and not sure why. Probably a number of reasons, like maybe I'm scared of the whole idea. I love my freedom. I feel like there's a lot going on here, and that's why I want to sort of go back to the thing of maybe you need to have a real sit down and think about what is going on, what are the motivations for this, and what are your expectations? What is going to change after you have sex with a sex worker? What do you think is going to happen?
That's a very good point.
Some people, like I said before, some of the testimonials were like, I got my confidence. I was in this rut where I didn't think women found me attractive. I didn't think don't think I'd ever have sex or be good at sex. And you know what? This thing, it worked. Actually, I watched a video with a sex worker who sort of specializes in this, and it was really interesting. And it sounded like, she was quite experienced in this and helped guys along, and it sounded like that. So if that's it, maybe it'll work, and that's great. But I wonder, maybe it won't work, and maybe you need to work out what your expectations are and how realistic those are going to be.
Out of it?
What do you want?
Because it actually sounds, now you're reading it again, it actually sounds as if this person has had sex.
I love sex.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know, so, but it's sex of Is
it monosex, or is it sex that doesn't?
Monosex, you mean sex on their own?
Yeah,
or sex on a unicycle?
That'd be unisex.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah.
So,
sex on a monorail.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, getting monorailed.
My God.
Sorry.
Wow. Anyway, sex at all is sex, so whether it's on your own or whether it's with somebody else, but it doesn't progress to any kind of penetration, it's still sex.
That's the thing. We also have to quickly dispel that idea of what is virginity, for example, because it is arbitrary. It is. It does make no sense. For example, two lesbian women get with each other. for example, no penetration takes place, are you going to say, well, they haven't lost their virginity? Let's say you're a lesbian woman who goes their whole life and there's no penetration, but they have countless partners, they get married, they have a big sex life. You would say they've lost their virginity. You would say they're having sex. So this intercourse thing is already kind of mad, like you say. So this person might be doing it, or maybe they're just a real connoisseur. They've read a lot about sex. They've watched some fantastic films about sex, aka porn, and they love sex, but they just haven't, it's all been theory so far. None of it's been practice.
I mean, there are an awful lot of people that have been fooling around, having really, really, really great sex, and then they move to penetration and it's disappointing.
Well, this is what you talked about with some of your religious clients, right? Where they've done everything but have intercourse, have sex, and then...
This big thing that's been built up as this amazing, close, spiritual event.
Yeah, and then they both do it, and they go, "Well, that was shite." And then and then because they think that's what they should be doing, they keep doing this thing that is ultimately rubbish. And actually, the fooling around they did before, where it was all, we can't go too far, we can't do too much, all of that, the pent up sexual frustrating. Guys, that was good. And then with all the weird fumbling and this just,
but it wasn't
just doing things that felt
good. But it's often
good.
not frustrating. Intercourse can be more frustrating because with the nerves about it, never mind, the additional stimulation that most women need. It's not a fun event. Whereas when they're relaxed and just fooling around, they're orgasming all over the place, and it's amazing.
God, and they're hot to the touch. Oh. Yeah, exactly. That's class. Okay, well, I think this is really interesting. What I would say is, as well, is I wrote out a couple of things here. So,
did you?
One thing, one thing I do think about, which we kind of mentioned already, the legal and safety concerns. So we mentioned before, like, if you are going to do this, make sure it is legal. And also the safety concerns, of course, STIs, STDs, all that sort of stuff. Some sex workers offer up that they send you that they've got a clean bill of health, and they ask you to send the same, all that sort of thing. Make sure you're finding people in reputable places. Do you know what I mean? It might be dangerous if you go to the wrong places. So if you are going to do this, and I don't think it sounds like we're recommending either way, make sure you're being safe in every way that you can.
And wearing a condom. And, I mean, I know that some people look for sex workers that say they'll have sex without a condom. And people are frightened that they'll lose their erection when they put it on. I promise you that the sex worker will help you put it on if that's what you need.
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, we've sort of touched on this, your emotional readiness. And also, the expectations and motivations. Like, really have a think about if this is what you want to do and what you think you're going to get out of it and whether that's realistic. And then, this is also a good point that I saw online. Some sex workers talking about the fact that when people do this, they sort of then dehumanize them. And they're not part of the process. It's almost like you're losing your virginity, but it's just none of this is about the sex worker. So you've got to remember that, yes, they're providing a service, but they are people as well. And like Mum said before as well, maybe if you are going to do this, you tell them what's also going on.
I'd say find someone experienced and a bit old and not very young. And also, if you're finding someone very young or who doesn't speak English, there is the risk they've been trafficked. And so you don't want to get you don't want to be exploiting anybody. So there's more to this than just
Yeah, you know what? And maybe this is my risk averseness, but if I may be candid for a minute, I wouldn't do this. If a friend of mine said this to me, I'd be like, mate, what are your motivations for this? What's going on deep down? And I hopefully think I would be able to allay their fears, and I think we'd be able to do something else. Not saying I watched that great video. We know lots of sex workers who would be great at this, but I don't know. I just feel like that there are a lot of things to think about here. And I think with that final point that I was thinking of, counselling and advice, whether it's a friend or whether it's actual counselling, when you think about the motivations behind it and go, actually, maybe I just need to talk to someone about this sort of stuff, someone professional, or even just a friend, get this word out there. Talk these things through, I think.
Don't worry about, virginity is a social construct. It isn't a thing.
Yes.
There is nothing that says you're a better person because you're a virgin than you're not. This is made up.
Or vice versa.
It's all made up. You do and be what you feel comfortable with. That's the bottom line.
That is the bottom line. where else do you go? We can't dig any deeper than the bottom line. So that's it. It's done.
Okay.
I think so. What I will say, though...
Let us know how you get on, if you do anything.
Oh, my word. Let us know how you get on when you make your decision. But also, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between, please let us know. We've got a poll on Spotify. We'll have polls on the Instagram. We'll have the questions up. Like, this is really interesting. Please let us know. And also, maybe just send in on the anonymous Google form, has this been you? That's also really interesting. It'd be nice to hear some good or bad testimonials, or, indifferent ones.
Just stay safe.
Yeah. If you can't be good, be safe. Isn't that what people say?
They say be careful.
Oh, right, yeah. That's good. All right, let's have a break, and we'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Real Sex Education After School. Wow, what a humdinger of first half. Let's try and replicate that in the second half. We've got a cracking question here from straight 22-year-old female from Buckinghamshire. They say, hi there, I'm a 22-year-old female from Buckinghamshire. I recently bought my first sex toy, a dildo. I am not a virgin, but I'm really struggling to use this toy. Intercourse with my ex-partner was not painful. However, I cannot use this sex toy. I find it incredibly painful and dry, and I'm only able to insert the tip before it becomes unpleasant. I feel this isn't a vaginal issue, as I was able to have comfortable intercourse. The dildo itself isn't very big, and it was around the same size as my ex-partner. What do you suggest I do? Should I use lubricants or condoms to see if this is more pleasurable?
Right, so I'm a bit confused, because I would say that people generally use dildos at sort of pretend penis, facsimile penis, whatever you want to call it.
A faux phallus.
Whatever.
Thank you.
Right, yeah, very alliterative. As a strap-on or something like that, if you don't have your own penis and you're wanting to penetrate somebody else, one would think. There are quite a lot of vibrators shaped like a penis. So I'm wondering if that's what she's got.
Well, yeah, right.
Because,
a case of mistaken identity sort of thing.
Sticking a dildo inside you with no prior arousal or anything is going to be horrible, I would think. Why would you do that? Also, they tend to be quite, some of them are bigger than a real penis.
But this person is saying it's the same size as their ex. I do think that's a good point, though. I mean, I wonder what the material is like, boyfriend material. I wonder what the material is like, because that might give us a clue as to whether this is a vibrator rather than a dildo / or whether this is supposed to be inserted. Because I can imagine there's certain materials like that wouldn't go in easily.
Well,
and it would.
I'm just wondering why you would want to put it in, because what you want to do is stimulate the clitoris. So you're not going to stimulate the clitoris by sticking a dildo inside yourself. That's going to do absolutely nothing.
But do you necessarily want to stimulate the clitoris? I mean... Well,
if you want an orgasm or to feel aroused, yes, you do. Because it's very unlikely that from a cold standing start, a dildo is going to do the job. If you stick it in you and wiggle it around, thrust it in and out, it's probably going to do absolutely nothing except make you sore. So first of all, I'd be using some lube if I were you.
Yes, if you are going to do this, that do use lube.
And give it a wash,
Yeah.
But that's not going to be very stimulating. So, I mean, if it is a vibrator, then use it to explore your vulva.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't stick it directly on the end of your clitoris, because that will make your clitoris go numb and it probably won't be very pleasant. But sort of experiment with what works for you. It's just weird. It's just, I'm just surprised that somebody would want to do this.
Well, I don't know. I mean, okay, so we've said not many people can have a quote-unquote vaginal orgasm. They can't...
Well, it may not happen everyone's got the capacity, I guess, but it may not happen very often. For some people, it happens all the time. Other people's, it never happens.
But maybe this person can do that, and that's why they're trying to simulate that. What maybe happened with their ex-partner, they want to do that again. Or they're just like, you know what? It does feel good when something's inside me. I want to double that up with clitoral stimulation.
Well, you can.
Or it's just fun to do.
A rampant rabbit is. Because a rampant rabbit has got little horns if you like.
Horns on the end.
So if you do insert, then it stimulates the clitoris at the same time.
But I get that. But you could use your hands and the dildo at the same time.
You could. Well,
it's possible. I've seen it done.
Okay.
Trust me on this.
Okay.
Trust me.
Okay.
But and also, but there are also people who, let's say for example, like to masturbate with butt plugs and things like that. So it's like, but you might not think they're necessarily going to orgasm from that. After a wash, of course, with lots of lubricant. But, they're not going to necessarily orgasm from that, but it's just part of the fun. So I don't think we can totally discount the idea that using a dildo
just the way it's written, it sounds... It made me think that. I mean, I'm totally aware people do all sorts of things that are fun. Yeah. And with fruit, particularly,
Oh, no, really?
Yeah. So, I mean, people will use whatever is to hand.
Yeah.
Quite honestly. Toothbrush, salt and pepper pot, all kinds of things.
Washing machine.
Washing machine's very common, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a classic. Just switch it on.
Not for insertion, though.
No. Oh, good God, no. Yeah, don't get in that. No. Oh, you meant the other way around, right? Yeah.
So anyway, have we answered the question?
I think so. Basically, if you want to keep using it, definitely use lubricant and make sure you're really horny beforehand. But also, if you're trying to achieve an orgasm, maybe focus more on your clitoris. So, and, just give that a go. I wonder, because we haven't mentioned the clitoris at all here, perhaps you don't know that's an option, or you do know that's an option and that's not what you're after. But, as always, let us know how it goes. You know what? Hop on the washing machine, stick it, get your whites in there.
Diggs,
hop on the washing machine and stick it in
graphic.
There. Sorry. But that's a 2-for-1 deal.
Diggs.
The whites are squeaky clean.
Enough.
And you've come. Okay, here we go. Last question of the day, I said. Last question of the day. How to control ejaculation, increase duration, and mind control? Question mark.
Ooh,
Man,
what?
28, straight.
So, what he wants is edging, is it?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
So, you can kind of play around with this by masturbating to the point of inevitability, which is the point where you're going to come what may. So, just as you reach the point of inevitability, stop. Wait a bit, go again. So, you can kind of use that as sort of training, if you like. Yeah. Some people don't recognise their point of inevitability. That's a cause of early ejaculation. So it is an exercise that some people want to do so that they get used to recognising the point of inevitability, the point of no return. So the first few times you do this, if you don't recognise the point of inevitability, you will come. So you maybe stop a bit earlier. But a lot of people who have long sessions of sex will have a bit of thrusting, a bit of stimulation, whatever, and again stop, and then do something else, go again, do something else, go again, do that, and and it gets more and more and more intense as you go on, so that when you finally orgasm, it's more stupendous, I believe.
Yeah. That is, listen, I can tell you.
I don't need to know about that.
Well, I was going to say I've talked to many people who've told me that's very much the case. Yeah. Oh, I've never done that. That's insane.
I don't care.
So what you're saying is stop, start.
Start.
Bit of it, you're like, we're reaching the point of inevitability, we'll stop. I think this is why it's interesting. I think what this person is asking is they're thinking what they really should be doing is just pounding away, for example, and not stopping, because they say increased duration. But really, for some people that's possible, but really that's not how you're going to do it. So you need to make your peace with the fact that
that exercise does actually
increase it.
Teaches you to last longer because you recognise your point of inevitability.
Yeah. But it's not just going to happen overnight, and there will be a lot of stop starting. And the stop starting though isn't a bad thing. No, and it's what experienced lovers do. And the thing is, your partner, you can ask your partner. I mean, if you're inside them, or if they're giving you oral sex or whatever, if you have a signal to stop, just use the signal. Tap them on the head 3 times, or hold your hand up, or whatever, or say stop. Yeah.
If you haven't got your own mouth full, you can.
Yeah. Oh, God, why did that one hurt so much? Yeah.
I'm getting my own back.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck it hell. No, exactly. Okay, what about mind control?
Well, I mean, does he mean thinking about Swan Vesta matches?
Grandma wet on a cold day.
Oh.
That's what people, to stop themselves from coming, is think about something horrible. We've talked about this in previous episodes. Please do go back and listen to them. They'll be called things like early ejaculation, delayed ejaculation, etc. Don't do this. Don't do this, because that isn't very sexy, is it? No. Thinking of things that and it's not really mind control to be like, I'm not going to think about the sexy thing that's going on here. You're reducing your own enjoyment. Do what we said before, which is enjoy, be in the moment, be very present, feel the feelings you're feeling, and that's when you'll notice your point of inevitability. That's when you know to stop, do something else, start again. And like Mum says, and like when I've talked to all these people, when I've interviewed them extensively about this, eventually when you do come after you've measured yourself for long enough, it's very intense and very lovely and sweet indeed. So it's great for everyone.
You never know. You might already be doing all this and just be a bit greedy for some more.
You greedy guts.
Also, Kegel exercises for some people are very helpful.
Tell us what those are.
Oh, well, you want to exercise the muscles that you use if you stop yourself weeing in mid-flow. And the NHS advises that you don't stop yourself weeing in mid-flow too often because it can give you a urine infection, they think.
Yeah.
But if you do it once, then you get to know which are the muscles. And then you can do Kegels by... I mean, if you go onto YouTube, there's lots of films with advice. But you can do short, bursty... sort of exercising of the muscles and big, long, tight holding the muscles.
Yeah.
Are you doing them?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's making the Kegel's face.
Yeah, I am. I just realised that we haven't talked about them in a while, and thus I haven't done them. I only ever do them when we talk about them.
Oh, you should get in the habit of doing them at the traffic lights or on the underground, or when you're doing the washing up.
Yeah. Well, I'd never bloody do them then, would I? Yeah, sorry. Well, listen, hey, that's great. Mind control, otherwise, we're not really sure. You'll have to contact some sort of...
Sherlock Holmes and his mind palace or someone like that.
Yeah, does he mind control people?
No, but he has mind control, doesn't he?
Over himself?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I thought this person wanted to mind control other people, which
no.
I don't think we're on board with.
So, no.
No, exactly.
No.
Wonderful. Well, that, I think, is it for today. People, thank you so much, as ever, for joining us. If you could do us this little lovely favour, please subscribe to the podcast. Please rate us on Apple or Spotify. We'd love a 5-star review. That'd be amazing. If you rate us on Apple and you want to write us a review, then we might even read it out on the podcast. And also, share your favourite episode with a friend. That is the thing that's going to help us the most. I'd love that. So if you could do any of those things, that'd be amazing, especially if your friend is thinking about having sex with a sex worker, which reminds me, please answer the poll. Let us know what you think. It's going to be fascinating. Thank you so much again, everyone. We will see you as long as you're subscribed or following to this podcast, wherever you're listening to or watching it now. And we'll see you next time for some more real sex education. Bye.